All right, do you want to share your screen?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so yeah, let's move this over. Okay, you see my screen?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll start with this property here. So we've got the some of you asked us last week to do a BRRRR as well. So we've got a property here that might be a good candidate for that. And of course, as you're watching, send us the properties you want us to analyze for you, and we'll pull those on MLS as well and give you your thoughts.
Yeah.
So on this one here, we've got a property that is located in Forest Lawn, so right off 17th Ave and 36th Street. So let's have a look at it. So 699 asking price. And you mentioned, Santosh, that this was an illegal duplex when you looked at it? Illegal fourplex?
Yeah, it says it's an illegal duplex. It says side by side bi level. There's no indication that they're legal.
Yeah.
It seems to a lower price, so which kind of indicates that it's most likely illegal. So yeah.
Let's have a look at the pictures on this. So
So the outside looks pretty decent. So pretty.
yeah, it doesn't look a bad shape.
That's a huge parking pad in the back. Right?
Yeah, huge space. That would be easy to build
Yeah.
like
A
two
nice
level
big
garage
room.
there.
Yeah. And then
So side we've got some
you
interesting.
can already tell it's dated. It's got like those tube lights, old carpets.
Yeah, the kitchen is quite
Kitchen
big.
was, yeah.
The ceiling looks like it's drywall though, so that's
Yeah.
it looks pretty rough. The walls got some damage.
Yeah. Bathroom.
And those are it's kind of look decent size.
Yeah, that looks pretty decent size. Yeah, that window.
Wow, yeah, that's some new flooring would help a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a pretty dated property here. So far, it doesn't look that rough though. It's in decent shape.
Yeah, it looks like these are a lot of cosmetic updates.
Yeah,
But at least, I mean, as of right now, it looks like the property's fully rented, all 4 units.
especially looking at the outside. The front looks quite good. It's older, but it looks in good shape. The back, I'm noticing though that there's something on that window there, some kind of repair that's been done.
Right,
But
yeah.
overall, it still looks decent. And then we've
Okay.
got $4,500 a month current revenue. Um,
So
so
utilities are $900, and I'm guessing those rents are very likely including utilities because they're giving you that utilities are costing
yeah, exactly. So
$900 a month. So
yeah, um, these rent, given the conditions, seem not that far from market. Like there's maybe a little bit of room, but not all that much for the area, I think.
yeah, but the thing is, it includes utilities, right? So
Yeah, that is actually low. That's a very good point.
yeah,
These could easily be plus utilities, in my opinion.
yeah,
And
that's what I think as well.
so there's definitely some room to go up there.
Yeah.
So let's pull the calculator and put those numbers in, just so
Mm-hmm.
you have an idea of the current numbers. So for these side by side here, we've got our template here. We'll have to read the numbers. Okay, so we'll start with our 4,500 rent.
Yeah.
So instead of putting them all separately, I'll just do 4,500 for the whole thing. Actually, you know what? Let's do them properly. We'll go in floor unit 1.
Yeah.
Basement.
Unit 1. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Unit 2.
Okay, so we look at here. We've got two main floor, 1240 each, 1245.
Yeah.
And basement 985 and 1045.
25. Okay.
And that gives us our total.
I don't think it's adding, right?
No, it is not, which is why I'm trying to understand.
Well, because you adjusted the cells, so the formula needs to be adjusted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. 4,500.
Yeah.
This is good too. Oh, yeah. That one business.
So again, we'll use 5% for vacancy. It's a pretty conservative number in today's market. So that's what we're going to go with.
Door taxes.
Annual property taxes.
145.
Yeah.
48.
Was it 1840? I believe that might be per side, right? Now it seems a bit too low. 1848 tire.
Yeah, it could be the appraisal for the property that's unusually low, but that would be something to confirm for sure, right?
Yeah.
And actually, we'll show you how to do that, guys. It's actually pretty easy. So if you go on the City of Calgary website, you can look up City of Calgary assessment, and you can go on the public access, and just agree to this. What you can do is search the address on here.
Yeah.
So we've got building 1821.
43 Street.
In Southeast. That will give you the appraisal value. So here we've got 641, and right away that tax amount seems way too low. So what you can do is take the 641,500, and they have a calculator on the
City of Calgary website.
City of Calgary website where you can calculate how much tax it should be. And I'll try to find that.
You can just do a little tax calculator and assessment.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one. So then you enter your assessment value, 641,500, and that will give you the tax amount. So see, it's important to verify this because it's a significant difference, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The amount that they entered on there is not accurate at all.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in here.
It's $382 a month in property taxes, insurance. You're gonna have to ballpark. Let's just say it's
We put 340, 340 a month here. That's
they have a number.
Not that far off actually.
Yeah.
Maybe a little high, so you can shop around a bit, but it's reasonable enough. I think we can use that number.
Utilities, zero. Well, they're paying $900 right now.
Yeah,
so
that's what they say.
Yeah.
So we can go with that. Use the number. That seems high to me.
And if each side is $450, each side is $450 a month.
Throughout the whole year, it still seems a little high. So it might be old furnace, like old mechanicals, because the windows seem like they've been replaced for the most part.
Yeah, that's what happens when you include utilities, right? So
yeah, exactly right. So that
they just use more.
Yeah, it's a good lesson there. Repair, we'll double that because we've got the 2 units.
Yeah, let's say $400 a month. Repairs, property management.
And again, we leave that at 0 because obviously some of you will be self-managing, some will hire out.
Yeah.
Again, like we talked last week, it's usually in the ballpark of 10 to 12% for Calgary for property management.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you account for that if you're going to be using a manager. So.
All right, so that brings our purchase price. We're asking $699, so let's do that.
You can put it at $699, but something I wanted to know: this property has been for sale for 151 days now.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign that there's likely some give in the price.
Yeah.
You probably get a bit of a discount on the property. Okay, so we've put that in. We've got a 20% down payment, 4.5% interest. So we are looking at a negative cash flow right now, $567 a month. So that property, as it is today with current rents, is cash flow negative. Now, as we talk, we think the rents, right, could be raised, or at least not include utilities and likely be around the same.
Yeah, I think all the utilities can be completely offloaded and probably get the same rents. So yeah, let's
Right
try
away
that.
with that would give us a positive cash flow, right? So
What does
that's
it come up to? $333 a month, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So then that might make it more worthwhile to possibly consider this, right? And another thing is there's still a lot of potential with this property because there's an entire huge parking pad in the back. So when you add, let's just say you add a 4-car garage or in the back, it's a 50-foot lot. Is that what it is? Most likely,
Yeah, it's
right?
double check. I think so too, but
Yeah, 50 MC1 and
they're not
yeah,
mentioning width of the lot.
they're commonly 50 feet wide lots
Yeah.
for properties like these. So that's
Yeah,
yeah,
15
14.94. That's probably
Yeah.
close to 50 feet. So
Yeah.
yeah, so let's assume you could build a 4-car garage in the back after you take possession, and now you can get, should we say, 150 per bay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be about $600 in extra cash.
Might be a little less around this neighborhood, but I would say at the minimum around the $125 per bay is likely conservative.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So assuming we do that, that's an added, like, and garages are really good return on investment.
Yeah, low maintenance.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about the build cost, probably what would you say, 60 to 75,000?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. And assuming you get 150, yeah, assuming you get 150 per door, per bay, and you have 4 garages, that's $600 a month. Over a year, that's $7,200. If it costs you 70,000 to build, just to keep the numbers round, that's 7,000 over 70. That's like a 10%, right? Return.
Yeah,
So
it's good return, and
yeah,
that's with no use of leverage at all. Don't forget,
exactly.
if you do those addition at time of refinance, these add value. So
Yeah.
usually you can refinance those, leverage them, and then your return also goes up.
Yeah, exactly. And then automatically your cash flow number goes up from 333 to probably over 500, right? Depending on whether you're leveraging or paying cash for those. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. Right. What
Does
else?
anyone have any questions at this point before we keep moving with that property?
Yeah, let's see. Let me quickly make sure people on Facebook are. All right. Yeah. If there's no one, then I guess we'll keep going.
Yep.
So if someone was, so I have a question. So if someone wanted to BRRRR this property, is three, okay, let's just say I'm an investor from out of province and I've been given these numbers. Is $333 a month a good cash flow? Like, should I buy into this? Is it worth it? What would you say?
It really depends what your goals are, right? Personally, my thought on it is for that neighborhood specifically,
Yeah.
that seems too low for me to be worth it.
Yeah.
Not to bash on Forest Lawn, but when you're looking at Class C and D neighborhood, especially Class D, you're usually expecting higher return, higher cash flow to make up for the higher risk and higher management, right?
Yeah.
If you have similar numbers than a nicer neighborhood,
Yeah.
then it makes usually not a whole lot of sense to go there.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on the land value? Because it's zoned MC1, right?
Yeah, that's a big consideration.
Yeah.
The only problem is we don't see a whole lot of redevelopment yet in Forest Lawn, right? So in the long term, that might be added value. In the shorter to medium term, I don't think there's a whole lot of value add because of that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all the question I had. Yeah, is there anyone else who has a deal that they'd like us to look over? If not, we'll just hop on realtor.ca. We'll go browsing today.
Actually, you sent something, so we wanted to talk about the
Oh,
possibility of this as well. So what we did is we picked up this property, which obviously needs renos, right? It could easily use a lot of cosmetic upgrades to get higher rent and higher property value. So we pulled up a similar property against Forest Lawn as well, 43rd Street. It's not far from there at all.
Yeah.
But this property looks like it's been renovated, so we'll have a look at it. And obviously, we're looking at the $900,000 price point instead of $699.
Yeah, so we'll see if that $200,000 is worth it.
Yeah, let's have a look if the spread makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's look at pictures first. We are looking at a nicer exterior. I wouldn't say it's a modern look or anything, but it looks pretty
clean. Yeah, it's just clean.
Maybe some stuff with the roof.
And this has probably been on the market for a while because there's snow in the picture. So how many days has it been on the market? Okay, so it looks like they replaced one of the decks out of the two.
And no grass.
No grass at all.
Lot, yeah.
Yeah, but a bunch of trees. So it looks like in this kind of nicer renovated property, they've changed the flooring, but not the kitchen. The kitchen's still old.
Some of the appliances, like the fridge, looks quite new, but the kitchen overall is.
You can tell by the handles of the kitchen cabinets, right?
Yeah, that's an original kitchen. It's never been renovated. Might have been repainted at the most, but.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, so very average finishes, just new flooring throughout.
Exactly. So very, very limited upgrades.
Yeah. That's a laundry area, I think, with no washer and dryer right now. So
that looks like the vanity's been changed. So it's very small thing. So that's all we have. So let's have a look here. So we're getting
4 standalone units, $1,200 for each unit, not including any utility bills. Okay, that's good to know. So
yep, then we know our other property is definitely on the market, right? Because we're looking at $1,200
per unit without utilities.
with utilities included. So and
let's
pretty units.
Let's plug those numbers in.
Yep.
Let's see how that looks.
Yeah.
So well, actually, that is for $900,000 or $899. Let's see how that looks.
Well, the only thing on here too is they say $1,200 for one unit, the other 3 are vacant, but they don't mention which one is getting $1,200 if it's main floor basement.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming it's likely main floor, right?
Yeah. So maybe should we do 1,200 up, and let's say for the area it's probably $1,000 down.
Yeah, it's kind of the numbers we had. So we run it on this property here without utilities.
$899, 1,200, 1,000, 1,000. We'll leave the vacancy the same. Property taxes, there we go, 4,370. Property taxes. Could probably keep insurance.
Yeah, probably
it's a bit high at 340 for the old property, so maybe this one 300. Yeah, that's fair. Repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, so we're looking at the cash flow negative property here as well.
Yeah.
The problem of these being that the rents are not high enough to justify the prices, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That price is not necessarily problematic if we're in a neighborhood where it could command higher rents.
Mm-hmm.
But in this neighborhood, it's hard to get cash flow at that price point, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought this was going to be actually an idea of what it could be priced for once renovated. But that property doesn't look that renovated to me, actually.
I think this property is they just did the flooring upgrade and then it's just overpriced.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it hasn't sold.
It's on the market. Yeah, that's close to half a year.
Yeah,
on the market. So, yeah.
So does anyone have any property they'd like us to have a look? Okay, well, we'll find something then.
Yeah, we'll just go on now. Last
one. So let's go. Did we do bonus last time? I think we did.
I think we did, yeah. So maybe we can look at something in Huntington.
Actually, we did Pine Ridge last time, and did Pine Ridge and then Shaughnessy, I think, Bridlewood. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, we can pick maybe one in Huntington Hills or one in Bowness. The reason why we're picking that, by the way, is we know they're neighborhoods that usually work pretty well for rentals.
Yeah.
So what I'll do here is in the search, I'll do not a condo because those are usually not that great.
Freehold. Yeah.
Freehold. And then let's have a look. Filter list.
Let's see.
See by price what we have. So that might be an interesting one.
Half duplex. Yeah, let's see that. 72 Avenue. Yeah.
We have a few options of those duplexes that might be decent.
Beaver Dam Way, Northeast, Beddington.
Yeah, let's go back. I kind of like those half duplex.
Yeah.
Usually we can get some decent numbers on that. This one looks kind of nice inside, but there's no outside pictures. So
yeah, let's choose that. Let's see what they have. Yeah.
Okay, so just want to see which road that is.
Okay.
Okay,
335.
pretty nice area of Huntington Hills too. You're right by Nosell Park, right around there. So let's see. Yeah, 335, not bad.
Yeah. So flooring looks pretty nice, at least in the pictures.
Probably either laminate or vinyl planks from the look of it.
Could tell the ceiling's a bit dirty, but can be cleaned.
Kitchen's original.
Kitchen's original, but it looks to be in good shape. Where you could probably repaint all the cabinets and put new hardware, and it probably look pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's got the shaker style, right? Like that people are.
The dishwasher too, so you can replace that by a newer one and
exactly
not have to run any plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then looks like everything else about the kitchen looks pretty old. Backsplash and that. So, and then again, new flooring in this bedroom. Did they talk about the windows at all? If the windows.
I'll have a look in the description. I didn't see anything about that. But it looks like a pretty typical duplex for the area so far.
Yeah.
With again new flooring, so it looks like the paint could be redone. There's quite a few scuffs, but it's minor cosmetic, all right. So basement's not finished.
Okay.
We have a laundry down there.
So it's kind of
a lot of the walls are not done. Like
it's a partially finished kind of basement. Well, not even like a 1/4 finished.
We've got the deck out there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So backyard, is there a parking pad?
So I'm trying to see. It's a bit hard to see. It looks like it does slope down, and given the area, there's often pretty big hills around there. We can kind of tell with the fence, right? Like it does have a slope. So there's likely, like we can see the bins there. So there's likely a bit of a parking space, but garage might be a challenge to build on that property. When you've got those hills, you have to get a lot of dirt out, and it can get expensive really fast. So you'd have to see the way that it slopes down after the fence, but that might be a no-go for garage. Parking being usually a bit easier.
Okay, so let's quickly skim through the description. Private fence backyard backs onto a back alley for easy access to your property. Huge full-size basement. Huge open spaces for your imagination in the basement. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't come with a washing machine either, so.
So we've got 976 square feet, which is not too bad for a 3-bedroom. So let's run some numbers on this. So what I'd like to show you is run some numbers as a 1 unit, the way it is right now. Right? And then we can also run some numbers with adding a basement suite.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have to see the property in person, but it looks like there's some good potential to put like a 2-bedroom basement suite down there.
Yeah.
We can have a look at that.
Check this. I think this one could be a pretty decent property.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Just with quick maths, it's an interesting price point. So
335 purchase price, The
Let's
rents.
figure out our rent for the area again, right? So we'll do it as a one unit and then rerun the numbers as main floor, basement separate. So again, we like to use Yep, you can use Facebook Marketplace. You can use anything really. Wrong site. Rent just has such good filters that it makes it easy to look up properties fast.
All right. Okay.
Pick the area, Huntington Hills. Usually Beddington, Thorncliffe has similar rents, so we can add that as well. So what we'll want to do is duplex and house.
Yeah, that's because we haven't done renovation. Duplex.
Yeah, because we'd be renting it as a whole house for now, right? Until we put a suite in.
So the first one, duplex. Oh yeah, okay, second one now. 3-bedroom plus den for 1,500.
Yeah.
And
I was looking at the area here because our subject property is right beside, but that looks like that looks like
probably
a more luxury house. So, so we've got. Let's go by price actually. So I have a few options. So we can just look at Huntington Hills. So yeah, duplex 1,600 on Biddington Boulevard. They're close to it. So that's a 4-bedroom. So there's probably a bedroom in the basement.
Yeah, $1,600
a month. So we can quickly go through pictures. It looks like a pretty comparable property in terms of finishes, just different colors, obviously. What I'm curious is if the basement is finished, and they don't show pictures.
Yeah, there's one picture. So
you see one of the basement?
That's probably the basement, right?
No, that's main floor.
No, the next picture with the kitchen, that's probably in the basement because you can see the bulkhead above.
Right. Yeah. So it looks like there's an illegal suite in the basement, likely.
Yeah.
They're not disclosing it, obviously, in the ads. So we've got that at 1,600. Now we've got this one in Biddington at 17.
Yeah.
2-bath, 900 square feet up. Okay, so let's go through this.
Okay, yeah, older carpets.
Older as well. It's got the kitchen in the basement as well, so that's interesting. They're renting those as one unit, but they actually have 2 illegal basement suites. Yeah. Actually, that's probably the duplex thing. We'll take that out and look just at houses. Wow, there's not a whole lot there that's affordable, eh? It's crazy.
But I would say if the whole house was rented, probably 1,700, because the basement's not really finished.
I'm actually surprised to see those prices because I own properties in the neighborhood, and those are pretty wild. $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, we'll ignore those. I definitely think they are over market rent.
Like 1,850. Okay, that's kind of close.
Yeah, let's look at this. So 4-bedroom house, 3-bedroom, up, 1 down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like similar finishes to what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can do is look at one more here. That's a little larger though. We're looking at 1,300 square feet. It's an odd setup. So I think just based on the knowledge of the area, that there's not a lot of good comps, as we can see, right? So sometimes that makes our life a little more difficult. But I think that the $1,800 to $1,900 range is reasonable for the area for a whole unit with basement.
Okay.
So we can go with 1,800.
18, I think.
Yep. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got 1,800. We'll adjust our property taxes. 2137.
On property taxes, right? On the website, insurance probably $100 a month.
Yeah.
Experience.
And we'll bring that down to about 200 as we're getting only one side, right, for maintenance.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have a garage, right? So
no garage here.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at for numbers, and what are we using for mortgage interest rate and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So looking at $120 negative cash flow. Again, it's just renting it as a one unit, right? Which often does not make sense, especially in this market right now. It's a little hard to cash flow. However, what we were discussing about is we think this property has good potential to do basement suite. So let's talk about that. What do you think, Santhosh? You've just been going through basement suite, new basement suite construction right now. We'll go through the pictures again. What do you think the budget would be to build a nice suite in there?
So to build a brand new 2-bedroom basement suite, it's going to run someone about $80,000 in today's market, right?
Yep.
If you want to budget a little extra, you're going a little high end, $90,000, right? So, but for this area, this part of town, I think we use $80,000. It's a pretty safe estimate.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go with that. So
yeah, so let's add $80,000 to purchase price.
So 405. Or yeah.
I'm lazy, so that didn't work.
You gotta put the equal, right?
405. There we go. So now at 405. Nice thing with that is our rent's definitely going to be going up, so we can have a look.
Actually, that's 65, right? 335 plus 80. Where was that? No. Yeah, good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. We're struggling with the math.
We know how to count usually when we're not live, so
yeah.
We'll go with that. So now let's have a look at our main floor rents for the area.
Yeah.
It looks like we have a bit more option than the whole house, or at least they seem to
be. So that first one is a single family. This looks like a duplex, right? So
yeah. So we've got this one is a duplex main floor. So
yeah, let's see the pictures. 1250.
Yep. Let's see. It's not included. 1,000 square feet. That's pretty similar.
Excuse my dog.
We got laundry on the main floor, so I would say that's not quite as nice as our subject property.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our first one. We've got 1,350 here. That also seems pretty comparable.
Yeah, let's see the pictures on this one.
Oh, yeah, this is kitchen, eh? Wow. You need to open some walls in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get that at 250.
So we know we can go higher if we renovated the base, like renovated the main floor. Well, actually, it has new flooring, right? So
yeah, but even just adding a suite, right? We can run the numbers. If you don't touch the main floor and just build a suite, I think even that might make sense. And then we can run the numbers again. If we do main floor renos.
Yeah. Should we take a rent that's in between? So one property is $1,250. This one's $1,350. Maybe we can go with $1,300 for main floor rents.
I think even given what we looked at that spread here, we might even be closer to 14, and given the area, right? Because this one is not as nice as our subject property. Just the way the layout is, right?
True. Okay. Yeah, 1,400. Let's do it.
So 1,400. Now the nice thing with our basement is it's going to be brand new, right? Because you're building a new basement. So even if you don't go crazy on finishes,
basically, you could probably just off the bat about 1,250 easily.
Oh yeah, I would say probably 13 plus, and we can see that from the pictures, right? Because 1,250 is giving us what actually looks like a pretty modern basement. However, the layout looks a little odd.
Yeah,
it's with the way the kitchen is, so that's probably part of why it's renting for less. And I think it's probably a smaller basement from what we can see. And I'll mention the size, but you can kind of tell it's one bedroom.
That second house is interesting because it's my client.
This one?
Yeah, it's my client's property. He's renting it out.
Oh, nice.
I bought him I was a realtor on that.
In Bennington. Good job.
In Bennington, yeah.
He's got a 3-bedroom basement then.
Yeah, it was a 3-bedroom basement, and the client legalized it. So
Let's have a look at it.
yeah.
So he's
Well, I
got-
don't know if he's done legalizing it. I think he's still kind of in the process. But yeah, it's a nice property.
Yeah. And then we've got the 2-bedroom as well for 1,400.
So that's a brand new basement. So
Yep.
we could probably, it's a 2-bedroom plus den. So we'll see.
And it doesn't look like extremely high in either, right? We've got laminate countertops. You know, at the $80,000 price point you were talking about, you can definitely get something similar to this, maybe even nicer.
Exactly.
Like nice flooring, pot lights. Like they did a pretty good job overall.
Yeah.
Not luxury, but well done.
Yeah.
So that looks like a pretty good comp. Good laundry room.
Yeah. It's a nice sidewalks, backyard is nice. Okay. And then the rest can look like they're 1,595, 3-bedroom.
1,200. This one here. Where's this one located? Yeah, Biddington as well. Oh, sorry. Well, just by the edge of Biddington.
This one's like nice, but not that nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, just knowing the market and looking at these rents, you know, like we're around the $1,300 mark, right?
Yeah. If we put a 2-bedroom basement in, $1,300. Pretty easy.
So we'll go to 1,300.
Okay. So what does that change? Property taxes, let's just say it goes up by another $25 a month.
Yeah. And actually, this is the best part. So you should account for that, but the city will not immediately increase your taxes, right? Like when you legalize it on the next tax year, they might adjust a little bit. In my experience, it's not a big adjustment. Like they won't adjust for the actual value of what you've put into it. But we will increase them just because you shall account that at some point they will be adjusted upward. And we're looking at $430 a month cash flow now. So this is a very good example how you can take a property that is cash flow negative by a little bit, put suite in it, and the return on the suites is just great, right? Like you're going from a property that's losing money to a property that's making money.
Exactly.
Even with a higher price point. So
in most cases, just renting property by itself as one unit just doesn't seem to make any sense in Calgary anymore, which is the whole reason why most investors are putting in basement suites, or for those who don't want to do all that work, they're just kind of keeping illegal suites, which is not recommended. So that's kind of the rationale.
A conversion to small multi-unit, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It is multifamily at small scale. So
yeah. Any questions from those viewing?
Oh, thanks, Leo, for correcting our bad math. We can do it at 415. Doing math live is not that easy in your head, but we're still looking at almost $400 cash flow, right? So it doesn't change a whole lot in terms of return. So, but thanks for correcting us on that.
Where are you seeing the comments? Because I can't see it.
Facebook. Like if you join the feed directly, we can see the comments on there.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Any other questions about this property?
Yeah, Leo, do you have any questions?
I guess something we could do as well is simulate a main floor renovation as well, right? Like you go in the property, you put a basement suite, that's great, but you could also put main floor reno. It could definitely use some renos.
Yeah.
So looking at this, what do you think would be budget? Like we already have nice floors, so I don't think there's any work.
Yeah, I wouldn't change the flooring. The only thing that's going to make a huge impact, I think, of this space would be, because the cabinets are so outdated, would be just putting in new cabinets. If it's
new backsplash for sure.
Yeah, new cabinets, countertop, backsplash.
Yeah.
Given the area, you could probably get away with white appliances, but stainless steel will command a slight premium.
And honestly, for the price of upgrading appliances, it's usually not a really big expense to get. If you renovate the whole kitchen and you have new appliances, it just looks a lot better.
Nicer, yeah. And then for me, like I think the biggest kind of selling feature of renovated houses are pot lights. I like to go crazy with pot lights. I love pot lights.
I agree. They look great.
Yeah.
And unless it's not that expensive to do either, it's a
Yeah.
really good reno.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the main thing that's needed. I think the bedrooms look pretty decent. Um, like flooring again is fine. It's modern look.
Yeah.
Bathroom, like new vanity. Probably change the mirror for something a little more modern, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, it's not like terribly run down, or it's perfectly rentable as is.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not going to get top dollar rents with current main floor
Which is the
situation.
nice thing is you can buy a property like this, add a basement suite so that you are cash flow positive, and then once you do that, you can rent it for a while, right?
Yeah.
You spent a bunch of money. A few years down the road, you can do a main floor renovation.
Exactly. It
Yeah,
doesn't all have to be all done at the same time, because and stretch yourself thin, right? Because like you only got to do what makes sense for you, and if your budget doesn't allow for a basement suite renovation, then don't do it right away, right? Uh,
mhm.
maybe it's cheaper for you to add a garage in the back, and that makes more sense. Doing a $40,000 double detached garage versus a $80,000 basement suite, right? Uh, so you got to do the math on that and see what makes sense for you and your budget at that time, right? So
It's a great thing about these properties is you can really just spread out that budget over time. Um, it's a little
exactly.
safer, I think, for new investors, especially. You can start to get some money in before you do the big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so like that main floor, we're looking at probably what, like even if we don't repaint cabinets and we do like a brand new kitchen with new appliances.
And that's easily a $200 rate, like lift in rents per month, just having a new kitchen.
Yeah, just that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because the kitchen kind of sells the place, right? Like if the kitchen looks run down and like dated, then even
Yeah.
if you change the flooring and whatnot, it doesn't really sell the place that well.
So actually, we have a comment about refurbished appliances being great. That's very true. Like Bow West is a good example. Scratch and dent appliances are great for rentals. However, make sure you shop around when you look at those. In my experience, they don't always make sense. They usually are cheaper than retail prices, but the sales on new appliances are sometimes the same price or even cheaper. Uh, so make sure you shop around. But overall, yes, it's usually a good place to go is for scratch and dent or refurbished.
Yeah, I see Sajid's recommendation, Arc Appliance Solutions. So for those watching in the Calgary area, might be worth checking out. So yeah, thanks for that
We'll,
recommendation. And
we'll keep the
yeah,
other comment in mind. Actually, we'll recircle that, Leo. There's a bit to talk about, I think, regarding the ADU. But yeah, to finish, like on the main floor, if we're spending 25,000, would you say, for the kitchen with new appliances?
for a brand new kitchen, let's look at that kitchen again. I think it wasn't that big of a kitchen, right? So
No, it's not that big.
and I wouldn't go crazy with the upper cabinets again. Like that's just way too many upper cabinets. So I'd probably, if you went through IKEA, you could get this kitchen done in 10 grand, right? Uh, materials
Yeah.
and appliances.
Yeah, and then well, I think with appliances it might be a little more now, but
Yeah, I mean,
even if we split in the middle, because it depends on the finishing level, right? So
yeah,
obviously you can spend easily 20. You can definitely do it for 10.
yeah,
Like even if we split it at 15 in the middle, you go kind of middle of the road and on appliances and everything. And you're getting a $200 lift on rent, which we know is definitely realistic from a kitchen upgrade. What I can say pretty good numbers for sure. So if we got 435 and we are getting 1,600, then our cash flow actually goes up $100, right? So there's and again, I want to point out something. We're assuming that the entire amount is financed at 80% loan to value. Obviously, when you do those renos, you have to put the money up front. But at refinance, however, you can usually lift your loan amount to add in your renos, right? So it just makes the math a little quicker. But keep in mind it doesn't actually work out 100% like this in practice.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of the questions actually here. We've got some good ones. So
yeah, I saw a few. So
we've got one about the ADU and garden suites. So I absolutely love those. So very good point on that. However, to build them is very expensive. Most people think they're a lot cheaper to build than what they actually are. For the most part, all the prices I've seen, I've talked to a lot of builders that do those, and a lot of people have built them in the past just because I love that product so much. And we're looking at $250,000 to $300,000 right now to build.
Right. Yeah. I would say I've heard about the same in the same range, like upwards of 225 at a bare minimum, and then the price goes up from there. And then at that point, it's basically you're building a brand new house, right? So, so then you got to think about, is it worth it for me to spend $300,000 only to get a 1-bedroom garage suite or maybe a 2-bedroom carriage suite? So you got to.
The returns are not that great on those. Like usually, in most cases, if you do the math, it makes more sense to take that capital to buy an extra property than to build a backyard suite. And it definitely makes more sense to build a basement suite if there isn't already one in the property.
Yeah.
However, these properties are a really good buy with existing suites. On the resale market, the suites don't cost $250,000 to $300,000 in the most neighborhoods. They're an extra $80,000 to $120,000, and at that price point, they make a lot of sense. That's another thing I would caution about building them new is you don't actually get all that money back. You might spend $250,000 on it and get only $100,000 back, right? Where if you build a basement suite, you're getting a bit closer to what you spend. If you build a garage, you're usually getting pretty much all you spend on it back. So the backyard suites are a little difficult to justify new because of that. But existing, they're amazing. Like the tenant quality is great for those usually. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So in terms of kind of
sorry, that question, the 125. When was that?
Yeah, that's better than the 1% rule. Yeah, I mean at $125,000, but from what I've 2 months ago,
I would be cautious to verify, double check that. If you can actually build it for 125, send that to us because I think we'll start to build those. That'd be amazing. But I would double check to make sure.
I think 125 is really, really freaking low. So I would really be extra cautious and double check that because, there's so much permitting involved with those things, and like having to put in new sewer lines, basically new water supply, gas, everything. So
utilities alone are like 30-40 grand on those.
So like if they're building it for 125, I don't know, like that might be a very expensive shed.
But send us in private the builder and the project that you have the quote. We can revise it. Sorry, not revise it. We can have a look with you and see if we can point out some red flags or something like that. It might be possible, but just based on the amount of builders we've talked about this, it seems a little difficult. But
it seems quite a bit low. So would be happy to look it over.
We've got some other comments on here too, so I'll just stop my screen sharing on here.
Okay. I think I saw Leo's name somewhere. I don't know if he's still on the call.
So Leo, if you add a basement suite to this, does it make sense to reappraise and refinance right away? I mean, that depends on your loan product. If you have a variable mortgage and you're able to qualify to refinance right away, then sure, that makes sense, right? But sometimes you're in a fixed loan over many years and there's fees to break that loan. So
one thing is interest rates, and second of all, does it make sense? Comes down to what the rent is and what your refinance ARV is going to come up to, right? Because if your after repaired value is quite a bit higher, then now you're basically going to break even with cash flow after pulling out all this money, and you're going to be really stretched with the cash flow, right? So you don't want go crazy with the refinance. Even if you do it, only pull out enough that like be reasonable with the amount you want to pull out, right? So you still want to be cash flowing, but you also don't want to pull out all the equity and dilute your return, basically. So
yeah, very good point.
Yeah, it looks like Adriel here said you can get a product called the Purchase Plus Improvements Mortgage, which will provide you finances that won't be. Yeah, Purchase Plus Improvement mortgages work quite well for some investors as well. So yeah, definitely something you speak to the mortgage broker that you're using if that's the way you want to go. So
yeah, especially if you have a good plan coming in. Like if you look at a property, you already have quotes from contractors and good idea how much that's going to cost. Definitely run those by your mortgage broker and see what they can do. So
yeah, I think the from what I find, the Purchase Plus Improvements mortgage generally works if you're hiring a general contractor to manage the entire project. So they give you like a full quote with everything broken down by trades. Whereas if you're acting as your own general contractor, you're getting all the subs. It's a bit harder because then the banks don't really like to see that kind of that style of general contracting, I suppose. So just something to think about.
yeah.
But with a general contractor, you're also paying a bigger markup rate on everything. So yeah.
Any other questions? We're getting some really good questions now. So
yeah. Also, a cashback mortgage can do well. Yeah, that one's from Adriel. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point as well. So, yeah. Any last questions before we wrap up? Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going to be doing this again next week, same time, same place. So if you guys have deals that you'd like us to analyze, just email it in or WhatsApp or Instagram message any of us, me or Anthony, or you can email it into info@calgaryreihub.com. So that's how you can send in the deals you'd like us to look at. Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in for today's episode. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Yep. Have a good one, everyone. And feel free to reach out offline too if you have more questions regarding what we talked about. We'll be happy to answer those.
Yeah. Okay. See ya.